everybody. This is Lisa Farst from Celebrate Recovery at East Pickens Baptist Church. And today I want to go over lesson 7, which is sponsor. So you've probably heard the term sponsor now being mentioned several times at our meetings. And so we're going to go over what are some of the things to look for in a sponsor, what does it mean to be a sponsor, that type of thing. It's based out of Principle 4, openly examine and confess my faults to myself, to God, and to someone I trust. That's Matthew 5:8, happy are the pure in heart. Step 4, we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. And Lamentations 3:40 says, let us examine our ways and test them, and let us return to the Lord. So we are embarking upon step 4, where we're going to do a fearless and moral inventory, and that can be pretty scary. And if you haven't heard it yet said to you, we highly encourage that you don't go into step 4 without having a sponsor secured. So now's the time to talk a little bit about finding a sponsor. So I get the question all the time, why do I need a sponsor, or why do I need an accountability partner? So just right off the bat, it's biblical. Having a sponsor and accountability partner is biblical. Ecclesiastes 4:9-12 says, 2 are better off than one, because together they can work more effectively. If one of them falls down, the other can help him up. But if someone is alone, there is no one to help him. 2 people can resist an attack that would defeat one person alone. So it's biblical to have someone come along with you on your recovery journey. Proverbs 27:17 says, as an iron sharpens iron, one person sharpens another. Now, I have trouble saying the word iron, I-R-O-N, I know. But iron sharpens iron. So when you get 2 people together and you're walking a difficult path, or even sometimes things are going well, we sharpen one another, and that's also the role of a sponsor. So having a sponsor or accountability partner is a key part of your recovery program. Your recovery program has 4 key elements to being successful. To the best of your ability, you maintain your honest view of reality as you work each principle. The best way to ensure this is to have a sponsor and develop, a strong accountability support team. So people help you stay honest about what's going on in your life. You make recovery group meetings a priority in your schedule, knowing that a sponsor or accountability person is going to be there to greet you or notice if you're not there. That's an added incentive to attend meetings. Maintain your spiritual program with Jesus Christ through prayer, meditation, and studying His Word. And then the 4th factor or key element is to get involved in service, which includes serving as a sponsor after you've completed all 8 principles, or accountability, or serve as an accountability partner. So having a sponsor and or accountability partner is the best guard against relapse. I can't even imagine, honestly, me doing my life without a sponsor and a few accountability partners. It's very vital in my recovery process. So what do you look for in a person to consider asking them to be your sponsor? So what are some of the qualities? Proverbs 20:5 says, though good advice lies deep within a counselor's heart, the wise man will draw it out. So when you're looking at selecting someone to be a possible sponsor, you're looking for some of these key qualities. Does the person's walk match their talk? A lot of people can talk a great recovery program, but does their walk match the talk? Is he or she living by the 8 principles? Number 2, does she have a growing relationship with Jesus Christ? Number 3, does he express the desire to help others on the road to recovery? So do they want to help people? Number 4, does she show compassion, care, and hope, but not pity? You don't want somebody that's going to pity you. Number 5, is he or she a good listener? Number 6, is she strong enough to confront your denial or procrastination? Because there's going to be times that confrontation is needed. Number 7, does he offer suggestions? Number 8, can she share her own current struggles with others? So let's look at a moment for what the role of a sponsor is. Number 1, she can be there to discuss issues in detail that are too personal or would take up too much time in a meeting. Number 2, he is available in times of crisis or potential relapse. Like Pastor Jamie put it the other Sunday, it's your 2 a.m. friend when you're in trouble, and they're going to be available to you for a phone call. Number 3, she serves as a sounding board by providing an objective point of view. Number 4, another role is they're there to encourage you to work the principles at your own speed. The sponsor does not work the steps for you. Number 5, more important, she attempts to model the lifestyle resulting from working the 8 principles. So you want someone that's modeling recovery and modeling the biblical principles. And number 6, really important, a sponsor can resign or can be fired. And I have resigned as a sponsor many times to people because they weren't using me as a sponsor or were taking advantage of certain things. And I have been fired as a sponsor because maybe the match it wasn't a good match, or I wasn't giving them what they needed, or I couldn't give them what they needed. So we want to look at, how do you go about finding a sponsor or an accountability partner? First, your sponsor and accountability partner must be of the same sex. You should not ever ask someone of the opposite sex to be your sponsor. After you've narrowed that field down with that requirement, listen for people to share. Do you relate to or resonate with what is spoken by them? Listen for what they are saying. Ask some others to go out in a group, maybe after a meeting, for coffee or a sandwich or something. Get to know the person before you go about asking them. So take the time to kind of get to know them personally. It's very important that you do that. Ask someone, ask someone at a meeting if they know if somebody's actually free or willing to be a sponsor. Ask the ministry director, which would be me, or one of your pastors, or the co-director, which is Susie Bolding, Pastor Nick, others that are a vital part of Celebrate Recovery, if they know if anybody's available or would be a good fit for you. That's assuming that I or the pastor knows you well. If you ask someone to be your sponsor or your accountability partner, and if that person says no to you, I want to really encourage you not to take it as a personal rejection. Because here's the deal. They may already be sponsoring a lot of people, and it's confidential, so they're not going to sit there and tell you, I'm sponsoring this person and that person and this person, right? So they may not actually have time, or they could actually be having something going on in their personal life that they're wrestling with, and they don't want to commit to you because they just don't have the time that you're going to need. Whenever someone says no to you as a sponsor, I would say that 99% of the time it is not about you. It's about their own life, and you may not be aware of what they may be dealing with personally, whether it's time commitment, illness, having to take care of family, just a busy schedule, whatever it might be. Ask someone else. And also realize that you can ask someone to be like a temporary sponsor for you if you can't find a permanent one. So sometimes people are willing to be a sponsor for a short time commitment, like 4 months or 6 months, until you can actually find the right person to fit you. So some people are willing to fill in temporarily. Ask God to lead you to who He wants you to connect yourself to in this kind of intimate relationship. God knows that good fit for you, and God knows who you need, and God knows who has the availability. So ask Him to direct you. So I get a question all the time like, what's the difference between a sponsor and an accountability partner? So a sponsor is someone who's completed all of the 4-step guides, like these right here, right? These step guides, right? Now, we have changed it here at Celebrate Recovery at East Pickens a little bit different because not everybody's gone through a step study. So we do ask that no one sponsors someone unless they have completed step 4, where they have completed their fearless moral inventory, and step 5, they have actually shared it with their sponsor and gone through that. Because it's just totally inappropriate to sponsor someone and encourage them to do step 4 if you haven't done it yourself. So when a person actually goes through step 4, they're generally committed to the recovery process. So bare minimum, they need to have completed step 4 and step 5 and shared their personal inventory. And they need to be demonstrating that they are working through the steps. If they've completed a step study, then it is assumed. However, I am starting to do some interviews with individuals just to find out if the person actually did do the work of doing an inventory and sharing it, and they have a sponsor. I would say one of the most important things is that if you are going to sponsor someone, you should have a sponsor yourself, or at least an accountability partner. So everybody has someone to kind of answer to, and someone is supporting them. It just strengthens the whole structure of relationships when you do that. So, so a sponsor is someone that's demonstrating that they're working the steps. They've gone through a step study, or have at least completed step 4 and 5. Now, an accountability partner is someone you ask to hold you accountable for certain areas of your recovery or issues, such as attending meetings. Maybe you've committed to journaling. Maybe you've committed to making amends with someone, and you're asking that person to hold you accountable. They're going to ask you questions about it. They're going to kind of see, check in on you to see if you've actually followed through. This person can be at the same level of recovery as you. Unlike a sponsor, your sponsor should be ahead of you or demonstrating at least some good solid health in their life, right? The accountability partner does not necessarily have had to complete a step study or all of the biblical principles or all the 12 steps. Someone in your open share group that maybe even started the same time as you could be an accountability partner, where you're both agreeing to hold each other accountable to attend meetings, and you're going to call one another and check in on one another. The main goal of the accountability partner relationship is to encourage one another. You can even form an accountability team of 3 or 4 partners. So you have a group. It's like a small support group. The accountability partner or group acts like as a team, whereas the sponsor's role is that of a coach. So the sponsor is going to be coaching you through your recovery process and should have at least gone somewhere before you, and have some experience in the recovery or some sort of health. Now, I'm going to share something somewhat controversial among CR groups, but I am a firm believer that your sponsor does not have to be actively involved in recovery or Celebrate Recovery. But they should be someone that you admire their walk with God. They are demonstrating health in relationships. They're grounded. They're showing a growing relationship with Christ. They are genuinely interested in you, care about you, and they don't have a problem speaking truth to you. That's one of the most important things. Your sponsor should not be a family member. Your sponsor should not be your spouse. I'll just tell you that up front, because there are going to be times that your sponsor needs to speak truth to you, and they may be afraid if they are a family member, best friend, or something like that, to be able to speak truth to you, because they may be afraid of losing the relationship and forego demonstrating some, iron sharpens iron in that case. Some of my sponsors have been in Celebrate Recovery, and some of them have not been a part of Celebrate Recovery. The sponsors that I have had in my past that were not a part of Celebrate Recovery did have at least a working knowledge about recovery. And if they didn't, I educated them on that. They attended meetings with me until they got a good understanding of it. And I've always asked, up until just recently, that my sponsors actually had a sponsor themselves. I've actually allowed a little bit of leadway now to allow my sponsor to just have like an accountability partner. But it's important that it's a relationship that you connect to. And here's what I actually did. I took the Step Study book, right, which I just kind of read from, and I copied what the role of a sponsor was, how do you find someone, what you're asking of them. I actually Xeroxed this and I handed it to them because I was scared to death, right, to ask, and I was afraid of being rejected. And I said, here, I've been praying, I need a sponsor, I'm in Celebrate Recovery. You came to mind. I'm wondering if you'll pray about this. And I handed them the copy of what I copied out of this book, right, the Step 2 book. And I said, here's what I'm asking of you. And I handed it to them. And I said, can you pray about it and get back to me in about a week? And they did. Some said yes within the next day or whatever. But give people time to pray about it and consider it, because it is something that you're asking for. And there's actually a sponsor agreement form that I encourage everyone to use that allows you and your sponsor to meet and kind of go over some guidelines and boundaries. I had a sponsor one time. She got up at 4 a.m. every morning, so she just in the beginning told me, do not call me after 9 p.m. And I was like, what do I do if I'm having a crisis after 9 p.m.? She said, you need a second sponsor, and you call them. Don't call me. And that was her boundary, and I needed to respect that. And it actually was amazing. I had a backup sponsor that was pretty much able to be available to me at any point in time. When my main sponsor was on vacation, my backup sponsor was available, so I didn't bother my sponsor. She needed some time off for me and stuff. So, there are ways to kind of work around some things, because not every Celebrate Recovery program that you attend there may not be available sponsors. So look for someone that or admire their walk with God, get to know them a little bit, and see if they're willing to do that. Invite them to the meetings with you. Whatever it takes for them to gain some kind of working knowledge about Celebrate Recovery and what the program is about and how you go about things. So that's all I wanted to share about sponsor. So if you missed, the meeting on Sunday night, this is, just a recap or a summary of Lesson 7 on being a sponsor. You guys have a great evening, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.